Welcome to the Weekly News. I'm your host, Thomas Thomas, from New York, New York. I hear that Tom G from Fun with Vocabulary has a crazy long E word to share with us. Hey Tom G, what have you got for us? Hey Thomas Thomas, welcome back from your assignment in Bora Bora. Before we get to that E word, can I just ask what you were doing there? Of course, Tom G. I went to Bora Bora to investigate reports about shipments of counterfeit suntan oil. We heard a lot of tourists were getting burned by this stuff. So I went there to try it myself. Here I am as an undercover canoe guide. Obviously, the suntan oil performed really well, so my investigation was a bust. Okay, let's get to your new word, Tom G. All right, I'm not sure I believe that. But it does look like you've been hanging out in the gym too, Thomas Thomas. All right, this week's word is elogofusio hippopocuniarius. That is a 30-letter word. You might think it's some kind of magic spell or a made-up word, but it's actually a real adjective that has a very simple meaning. It means very good or very fine. For example, you might call the chef over in a restaurant and say, "Chef, my compliments. That meal was really elogofusio hippopocuniarius." And you might say, "Thank you, I think." Who would have thought to use a super long word just to say, "very good"? You can also just add ly to the end to turn it into a 32-letter adverb, meaning very well. For example, even though he just got out of the hospital, he drove that car elogofusio hippopocuniariously. Wow. Now, you might be wary of trying to pronounce this word yourself. To help you, I'll use phonetic spelling from the Tom G School of Spelling. Let's break it up and pronounce it together. E, logo, few, C, O, hip, popo, cure, Q, near, E, us. Again, at full speed now. Elogofusio hippopocuniarius. Hey, Thomas Thomas, let's see if you can pronounce the word. Absolutely, absolutely, Tom G. That's a piece of cake. It's pronounced eel-go-fuchsia hippopotamus curious. How was that? Close, but only you could pronounce it that way, Thomas Thomas. Let's go over the origin of elogofusio hippopocuniarius. I'm here in Lincoln, Nebraska, in front of the library of the University of Nebraska. In 1934, an English professor named Maurice Weeson published a dictionary of American slang. This was the first known appearance of elogofusio hippopocuniarius. You won't find it in more mainstream dictionaries. By the way, this university produced two very famous alumni. There is one of the best investors ever, the Oracle of Omaha himself, Warren Buffett. Then there's the greatest TV talk show host of all time. Here's Johnny Carson. You know, elogofusio hippopocuniarius kind of reminds me of another famous long word, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. If you're old enough, you might remember that one from the 1964 movie Mary Poppins. Here's a great clip with Julie Andrews and Dick Van Dyke singing about that word.
The biggest one you ever heard, and this is how we go. Oh, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious, you can say it loud enough, you'll always sound precocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Maybe somebody watching today can put elogofusio hippopocuniarius to music. I'd love to see that in the comments below. That's it for this week, Thomas Thomas. Back to you. Good job, Tom G. We'll see you next week. Here's what's up next after the break. A swift-footed lizard that lived millions of years ago in Massachusetts has been named the state's official dinosaur. Do you know what your state dinosaur is? See you next week.